earbuds are working. Okay. You guys can hear me okay? Okay, cool. We give it a few moments. Let everybody trickle on in, get acclimated. Hello. Uh, 5-minute timer here, I suppose. How's everybody's week? Do anything cool? Good, good. Not the doctors and tests part, but... That's okay. That's good. Very good. Made a recovery. Good. Resisting the urge to make a mom joke until you'll pass it with flying colors. Absolutely. That's adorable. It dies fast. Or fades fast, I should say. It fades really fast. Just gotta retouch it up. That's good. That makes sense.
Wouldn't be up for like trying new stuff, but
I mean, if it work, it work.
hey there.
Peter Wallace is here. Okay, let's see. Give it like another minute, and then we'll get started. right. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back for class 2. Last week we went over mechanics. I gave you guys some resources you could study, gave you guys the homework of trying to find something that previously challenged you, testing that out. If you were here and got that done, fantastic. I hope you feel like a stronger player for it. If you are not, no worries. All of our sessions are recorded. I go ahead and share that live vlog, uncut, unedited, at the end of every class. And that's just so you guys have it to reference. If there is something that went too fast, you don't understand, or whatever, what have you. Ground rules, I went over these last time, but they're the same. Number 1, I am not God. I am not Yoshi P. I did not design the game. These are just merely tactics and things that I have employed in my playstyle that I have found help me and make me a better player overall. Take what you think counts, leave what you don't. Number 2, if we are covering stuff that you are already aware of, no worries. If it don't apply, let it fly. Not everyone here is a big dog raider or has done high-end or even remotely even looked in its direction, so I start from scratch because that helps make sure that you guys end up at the same page at the end. Number 3, and I tell this to my higher-end raiders all the time, my credit is fine. I don't need a cosigner. If you find that I am stumbling or struggling through something, just let me do it. I will get through it, I promise you, and if there are questions at the end, you can always ask, but things always go better if it is only one person teaching while everybody else just kind of tunes in. So hang tight if you feel like you have something to add to the discussion. Absolutely can't wait. You can use the text chat in Discord to add that piece. I do look in at that periodically just to make sure that I am touching on all points. So today we are going to be talking about roles, role actions, and then I am going to be giving you guys a neat place to practice. That is why we are here in Edelshire. When we are done with the boring chatty stuff, we will actually be taking a field trip to unlock one of the lesser known features in the game known as Stone Sky Sea. If you know what that is, fantastic. If you don't, you will find out today. I will explain that later. Hi Mia, the class is always 2 hours. So you can feel free to pop in or out. Most of this stuff being is that you've played in several Ultimates you're already going to know about or be aware of. This is just all beginner stuff that we're going through. But please feel free to jump in, jump out, whatever, what have you. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, there are roles and classes. So when you start the game, you pick a job, right? And it's usually a lower level job: Marauder, Gladiator, Thaumaturge, Archer, Lancer, those sort of things. When you get to level 30, you pick up your job stone. Most of you guys should know about that already as well. And then you become a class, right? So we have all of our different classes, but the above header for classes are roles. And so all of the classes in 14 can be divided into those headers. They're subdivisions. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. You wanna watch along with me while I go through those. If you were to open your character menu and go over to the classes job section, you will find that, number 1, you can look at all of the available classes here, not just for combat, for crafting, if you click the tab. But number 2, you'll notice that they're sectioned off, right? You have your tanks, your healers, your melee DPS, your fizz range DPS, and your magical range DPS, also known as casters. So these are the roles that are all encompassing, that encompass all of the different classes in 14. Everything that you play will fall under one of these subheaders. I did suggest in the post that you guys pick a class to kind of start considering committing to, especially if you're going to stay on and want to be raiding when the current tier releases in about, I'd say, January-ish. You're going to want to pick a class now and start committing to that. That way you are comfy with it come current content Savage Raids. You'll be rare and ready to go at the best of your ability. The thing that I am going to go over with you today is going to be role actions or role abilities. So under these subsections, right, tank, healer, melee, fizz ranged, caster, there are abilities that cross the field, and you can see them if you go into your actions and traits and select the role section in your actions and traits. Many of these will be the same across the board for all of your classes with minute differences here and there. Some roles will have different ones from others, and this is what I want to start out talking to you about. So we're going to go through each role section. We're going to talk about what the essence of playing that type of role means, and then we will go over the role actions for that type of class. To alleviate confusion, I'm not actually going to start with Phys Ranged. I'm going to start with Tank, since that is the first one that you can see in this ability. So a lot of people, there's a common misconception. By the way, sorry, small tangent. You may want to take notes for today. I did try to find written resources or websites kind of similar to what we used last week. There's not really anything that's concise out there that I could provide you. There's YouTube videos and things like that exist, but nothing where it's just like you can just kind of click and get an answer right then and there. There is a site known as The Balance, which we will talk about later on in other classes, but for today, I don't know if you want to open a notepad or like notes on your phone or just scribble some stuff down, because it's a lot of info I'm going to be throwing at you, and if you are interested in it, you may want to make a note of it. This stuff does translate to the other fights in the game, including ultimates. These are super important. So, getting into it, talking about tanks from the beginning, there is a common misconception that I would like to bust where it comes from tanks. Yeah, no worries, Ami. The common misconception being that tanks set the pace of any instance. That is false. A tank's job and main priority is to collect aggro or enmity off of enemies, whether that be in a dungeon, in a boss fight, in a trial, in a raid. That is your primary role. That is the essence of what you are doing. People often misinterpret this as tanks set the pace for a dungeon. So if you're a DPS and you're running ahead, you're being a bad teammate. That's not true. Tanks have one job: carry enmity. Make sure that the other people on your team are not being hit any more than they need to be. And so just to kind of reframe as far as that is concerned, because you see a lot of it, and in Gen Pop dungeon culture and etiquette with players, people are like, oh, I have to stay behind the tank. If the tank is going slow, then I have to go slow. It is polite to do so. It is not a requirement. So if you have a tank that doesn't know what they're doing, they're getting their sea legs, they just want to do like single pulls of like mobs or something in a dungeon, most people, just out of being considerate to the other players' stress levels, will wait for them. But that doesn't make that a hard law. It's a misconception, if anything else. Tanks do not set the pace for any fight. Tanks pull enmity. That is the end of the list. They protect you from getting hit when you don't need to. And you may say to me, well, Spogy, if that's the case, what do I do if a DPS is running ahead? I am going to tell you to do your best to manage your feelings and go, hey, that's free mitigation. Anytime damage is going out and you are not taking it, that is considered mitigation. So if somebody else has pulled a mob, all you got to do is pull that off of them and just kind of thank them for being your mitigation for a little bit. Would be my advice to you if you are looking to play tank. Any questions so far? Okay. Deshaun goes, if a DPS pulls a mob for me, I say thank you. My job is now easier. Correct. Because your job is to just simply pull enmity. If they have pulled something and done some damage to it and they've taken a couple of hits for you, they're actually doing you a favor. They're not necessarily trying to be a butthead about it. They're just trying to speed things along. If you are a tank player and you do not agree with that sort of behavior, it's not comfortable for you, you're like, hey, I'm trying to get used to this, you can say that. 99% of the time, people will be respectful of that. So if there's some anxiety about that, where it's like, well, if this DPS is pulling ahead and I'm not ready for these, I don't have any mitts or anything like that to use, what do? You just politely ask them to stop. You don't got to be a butt about it. Just be like, hey, this is kind of freaking me out. Can we slow down? Most people will respect that. And if they don't, I mean, there's a report button for a reason, but it's neither here nor there. It's free mitigation. That's exactly what it is. Toss them a mitt, sometimes it's a safety mitt. Yes, correct. I just expect them to bring them to me if I don't have sprint. Yes, that's the key. You're going to want whoever has pulled the packs to bring them back to you so that you can do your job. So that's also something that you can ask for. So if someone's running ahead, as a DPS and you're a tank and they're not bringing them back, they're just kind of getting punched in the face, you can go, hey, can you bring those over here so I can pick those up, please? Thanks. We're going to go through the role actions. I will not be going through the actions for each individual tank as they are different. Some of them are interchangeable, but that is later stuff when we get into talking about openers and rotations and things of like that. So for today, we are just simply going to go through the roles. If you want to follow along on your screen, please feel free. Otherwise, you can just look at mine. If you open up your menu, under the character subheader, you can go to Actions and Traits. Under Actions and Traits, there's a section called Role. If you click on that, especially as a tank, you should be able to see what I see. The first thing that you'll notice when you look at these options is that most of them are given to you under level 50. These are all given to you early in the game before you even make it out of ARR. Heck, before you even make it out of your starting city, a lot of the time, you will have about half of this list. And to you, that may translate to, okay, so these are low-level baby abilities. I don't need to use these after, I get my jobstone. That is false. I'd like to direct your attention just very briefly, let me slide this up a little bit for those watching, to my hotbar. You will notice that you see several of these role abilities still present on my hotbar as a level 100 warrior. This is true for all of my tanks. And why? Because the higher up that you get in different types of fights, when you start moving past extremes into savages, into ultimates, if that's your goal, your end goal, these no longer become suggestions and they become requirements. Buttons like Reprisal, Arm's Length, occasionally Interject, and Provoke will be very, very important as tanks. So always keep room for these on your hotbar. Some of them you will not use as much as others, but I am telling you right now, as a level 100 warrior, I still use Rampart. That is why it is down here with the rest of my other mitigations. That is a mitigation button. So let's just read through some of these abilities. You'll see as they pop up. Rampart reduces damage taken by 20%. It also increases HP recovery. You're healed, or if you heal yourself, by 15% while this is active. It is a mitigation button. Mitigation, very simply, is any button that you use that will lessen the damage you are taking from bad guys. That is what mitigation is. You will often hear it referred to as MITs. That's what that means. So Rampart, mitigation button, it's a 20% damage reduction, so definitely keep that in your pocket no matter what. Moving on, at level 12, you get Low Blow. This is just a stun. Funny thing about Low Blow, this still works in some places, even in Dawntrail. So if you're in game like me and you don't have Low Blow on your bar, you may want to put it back. This prevents you from taking damage, so after a fashion, it is a form of mitigation. You can stun your target. The duration is 5 seconds. If you don't have a white mage in the party, you will get that full 5 seconds every time you hit this button. I use this a lot when I'm fate farming. Especially when it's just me by myself and I'm doing like one of the boss fates. Low Blow is fantastic and you would be amazed at the areas it works. Provoke and Shirk are kind of a hand-in-hand situation. So I'm going to talk about Provoke and then I will talk about Shirk. This just gathers enmity. So if you've ever been in a fight in a 4-man dungeon or an 8-man dungeon, you may have noticed a little number next to your symbol where your name is off to the side. That is the enmity list, i.e. the order in which the mobs or boss that you're fighting is prioritizing you. It's the amount of attention that you're getting, for lack of better phrasing. As a tank, pressing Provoke will automatically move you to the top of the enmity list, with the exception of you not having your tank stance on, which we can talk about tank stances briefly today, but we'll wait. This isn't, hey, pay attention to me. Your mother smells of elderberries and your father was a weasel. You're getting the attention of the boss, basically. That's what Provoke does. Shirk is the opposite of Provoke, and it will divert some of the enmity that you have on yourself to whoever you have targeted with this button. Note I did not say an off tank. I said whoever you have targeted. Shirk works on anyone that is in your party. So if you have, I don't know, a black mage friend and you guys are being goofy together, you may press the Shirk button because they're second in the enmity list, and very briefly, for the faintest of moments, they may have aggro. Be very careful using Shirk. Oftentimes, it is used in higher end content when there is something called a tank swap happening. It's the tanks trading off. So one tank is going to stop taking aggro while the other one begins taking aggro. That is the appropriate place to use Shirk. But it will work on anybody that you have selected in your party list, so please be very wise about how you are using that button. I think it's roughly half. Yeah, it's 25. It's a quarter of it. Sometimes you accidentally shirk your healer when trying to shirk your off tank. Yes, mistakes can happen. So be very careful with your shirk ability. I do know that there are macros out there that exist for those of you who are looking to main tank that can prevent mistakes from happening, or at the very least minimize them. That is something that I would have you talk to one of our other tank mains about when the appropriate time comes. Shirk the Sharky BM. Don't shirk the BM, the black mage. All right. Any questions so far about Rampart, Low Blow, Provoker, Shirk? Okay, so we're gonna keep moving on. Interject is an interrupt. And you may be going to yourself, what is the difference between an interrupt and a stun? Well, a stun stops enemies from doing whatever they're doing, whether that's auto attacks, whether that's moving, whether that's whatever. If they're casting something, if they are susceptible to being stunned, they'll be stunned if you hit low blow. Interject only works in specific instances. I want you to think back to a fight that you've been in where the enemy is casting something and the cast bar is blinking very rapidly. It's kind of like a red-yellow, like it's kind of flashing while they cast. That cast is what is considered an interruptible cast, meaning that if you pressed interject at any point in that cast bar, they will no longer cast that thing. It's not a stun. It doesn't stop them from taking action after the fact, but it does stop that specific attack. Interject is incredibly valuable. As a matter of fact, there is a Savage tier raid right now in the current content Savage list that requires you to use Interject as a tank. It's the third fight. So this is still relevant now for high-end content. It will probably never not be relevant, to be honest with you. So this is one of those ones where it's kind of a non-negotiable. You're going to want that on your hotbar. Latest 100 Dungeon 2. Yep. Interject absolutely is valuable. Everything that we have used so far is valuable in some capacity. Interject is kind of a non-negotiable. You're going to want it, along with Rampart. Reprisal is another one that I would consider a non-negotiable. This reduces damage dealt by nearby enemies by 10%. It is a mitigation that is a damage reduction. It saves everyone, not just you. So you will see Reprisal, or sometimes raiders will call it Rep, used a lot in higher end content for raid wides. Unavoidable damage that a boss might be casting or throwing out. Something that would hit the entire party. There's nothing you can do about it. All you can do is kind of throw up a shield, heal from it, and like protect yourself. Reprisal is excellent for those. So even in ultimates, you will see Reprisal being used. This is a level 22 ability that you get. It is gold. I'm going to go as far as to call it a non-negotiable. In my personal opinion, you should be using Reprisal if you're maining tank. Anytime the boss is throwing out an attack that is unavoidable damage, that goes to the whole party. It can be overwritten. It does not stack. So if there are two tanks in an instance and they press Reprisal, you can't toss yours out there too and be like, yeah, now we got 20%. It doesn't work that way. One at a time. So make sure that you're paying attention so that you don't overwrite the other tank's Reprisal, if that makes any sense. The last one, and you're going to see this on some of the other physical classes too, this is my favorite button. I love this button so much. I call it the I don't feel like participating button, but the proper name and shorter name is Arm's Length. Arm's length nullifies most knockback and draw-in effects. So if you are in a fight, if you're in a fight somewhere and there's a knockback happening, you remember knockbacks from last week, right? Floor turns orange, it's got those arrows, kind of pushes you back. Arm's length is your I'm not doing it button. I don't feel like it. I'm not gonna do it. You can press that right before a knockback is about to go off, and it gives you about 6 seconds worth of I will not be participating in this mechanic. Every single class has a knockback invuln, which is what this is called. Casters have Surecast. Physical classes, tank, melees, ranged, have arm's length. This is your best friend. I love this button. Firstly, for that, it keeps me from having to participate and stuff. Secondly, there is another advantage to this. You can use this button in dungeons, and it is still super useful. As an additional effect, you may have already noticed if you're reading, when you are struck by a physical attack, the striker will be afflicted with a 20% slow. So if you are seeing a DPS run off ahead in a dungeon to pull mobs, there is a high chance they are using arm's length to do so, because it keeps them from getting punched in the face until they can get back to you. This is probably my favorite roll ability out of every single category and every single class. Surecast arm's length is probably my favorite. It is the best. It is a lot of fun. And you also feel pretty cool when there's a knockback going out in a raid and you don't move, but the rest of the raid does. You feel like a badass. So, I'm going to tell you that arm's length is non-negotiable. You do need to have it on your hotbar. In higher end content, that is true in a lot of places, but if you only plan on doing dungeons, alliance raids, things like that, it's not necessary, but it is a lot of fun. So go ahead and add that to your hotbar if you haven't already. Yeah, what Sean said is also omit in dungeon content. Are there any questions about the warrior role set before we move on to a different category? No? Going once, going twice. Don't see any typing. Okay, we're gonna move on then. We're gonna keep in the realm of physical just to kind of stay on the same page, and then we will do casters after the fact. So in the realm of physical, next up are gonna be melees. This is probably going to apply to a lot more of you than less of you. So head over into those actions and traits, same spot, roll. You'll notice that these look a little different. You might see one that is similar, arm's length. This is our friend, right? But the rest of these are different, right? You've got a completely different set of buttons. These are unique to melee only. Some of them will translate, but for the most part, you will only see these if you are playing a melee class. We're going to start with your personal heal. Second Wind. It instantly restores HP. There is a cooldown timer on that, but the cast is instant. It has a cure potency of 800. This is your, I went and pulled a pack of mobs, arm's length wore off, the tank hasn't picked them up yet. Oh dear. First thing you're gonna do is press Second Wind to regain some of that health. This is also very useful when you are in one-on-one fights. I know a lot of people take this off of their hotbar after a while. They're like, I'm in raids, I don't need this, there's a healer here. You always need Second Wind. I'm gonna tell you that it's non-negotiable. You get it at level 8. It should be your bestie by the time you get to level 100. Leg Sweep is a stun. This stun is less than the one that the tanks do. You only get 3 seconds off of this, but it is useful. There is a raid right now in the current Savage tier where you need to be using Leg Sweep. As a melee, you are gonna want this on your hotbar somewhere. Very important. It's a stun, plain and simple. It stops whatever some enemy is doing for 3 seconds. This is one of my favorite melee buttons. I think a lot of people forget about it, or maybe just don't know about it from jump, but I'm gonna make sure that you do today. This is called Bloodbath. This is essentially a life steal. So whatever damage you put out, you get health back for. This is fantastic to use in dungeons. In those situations where maybe a tank has pulled too much or the healer's not keeping up and the tank goes down and now all the monsters are looking at you, you need to pop Bloodbath. That's going to keep you alive, hopefully long enough for the situation to be remedied. Bloodbath is also super useful if you are in an alliance raid and you're out in Africa and there are no healers nearby, but you are kind of needing to put some of your health back. Bloodbath is an excellent tool to use in that case. You're healing yourself. If you've ever played Warrior has some mitigations where they put their own health back by doing damage. You have a button like that as melee. You get it at level 12. It's called Bloodbath. Go ahead and use it. Feint, similar to Reprisal for tanks, mitigates 10% of the damage. If it's physical, physical damage is 10%, magical damage is 5%. So Feint is a very good one to have on your hotbar. If you are going to be doing high-end content, it is a non-negotiable. You do need Feints for raid wides. There are fights out there that exist. As a matter of fact, the 4th tier in the current Savage, missing a Feint could mean a wipe. It's intentional. It's baked into the mechanics of that fight. So go ahead and add that to your hotbar as well. We already know what arm's length do, and that is my favorite button. Let's talk about True North. If you're a melee player, there is a high probability that you have positionals. What that means, if you're unfamiliar with the concept of positionals, is that you do more damage based on where you are on the boss. If you are behind the boss or if you are to the side of the boss, you may do more damage. True North nullifies that for you. So you get 10 seconds of you can stand wherever you want and hit this boss, and it will all do the same amount of damage with True North. It's ignoring your positionals. When you are level 100, you will have 2 of these that you can use at any given point in fights, and I would definitely encourage you to put them on your hotbar. If you are someone who likes to hit your positionals to do as much damage as you possibly can, True North is going to be your new BFF. If it is not already your BFF, or those situations where you can't be where you are supposed to be because of mechanics or whatever. If you have to be somewhere else and you can't hit your positionals, True North can fix that for you. Are there any questions about melee rules? It's all pretty straightforward stuff. You do get True North at level 50, by the way. So unlike the others with the tanks, you're gonna get that right as you're finishing ARR. I would suggest, like I said, adding all of these to your hotbar if at all possible. In my opinion, none of them are negotiable. They are all very important toolkits to be using if you are playing a melee class. And using them will set you apart from folks that are not. All right, last we have my personal cocktail, Fizz Ranged. I'm so sorry. I skipped over the essence of what a melee class does, didn't I? Melee classes have one job only. Do big damage. That's it. That is your responsibility. Make everything as dead as fast as possible. In the most efficient way possible. That's it. That's your job. Big numbies, lots of damage. Stuff fall down fast. If that wasn't clear before, hopefully it is now. All right.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Is it okay to stack Feint with Reprisal?
Very good question. Yes, actually it is. Feint and Reprisals will stack. Feints and Feints will not. Reprisals and Reprisals will not. Yes, you can. You can absolutely pair that. What you'll find a lot of times in higher end stuff is that the tanks and the melees will take turns. So you may get 1 Reprisal, and then for the next raid wide, you may get 1 Feint. Occasionally, there are situations that it does call for a Feint and a Reprisal, and you'll see that happen when it's supposed to. It's kind of a case-by-case basis, which is why I'm not really getting into it too much, because like I said, I'm here to teach you guys how to survive and ask the right questions versus just teaching you specific fights. But yes, Feint and Reprisals can hold hands. They are allowed. It's a good question. All right, we're gonna move on. Fizz Range. This is my personal preferred cocktail. I believe Aether, you're also, are you a Bard main, I think, I want to say? Or is that just PvP?
Yeah, I'm mainly main Bard.
Okay.
I'm trying slowly trying to learn Pictomancer.
Nice.
Maybe.
Very nice. Okay. So Fizz ranged, you are not like your melee cousins. Your job, counter to popular belief, is not to put up big numbies and do big damage. While you are capable of doing so, looking at you machinists, that is not your priority. Your priority is buffing your teammates. Not you, machinist. You sit over there and wait your turn. But if you are playing Dancer or Bard, you have one job, and your main job is to make sure that your party members are doing the best possible damage that they can do. Bards accomplish this through songs. Dancers accomplish this through dance. Machinist buff win is an excellent comment, honestly. It doesn't make any sense, to tell you the truth. You guys are like the weirdest exception to the rule. I could go on and on, but I digress. You're a support DPS. Yes, you are capable of doing massive damage. Most of the time, you can do massive damage, but you are only doing well if your teammates are doing well. And your teammates are only doing well if they have your buffs. So if you are one of those people that likes to look at damage numbers, and you really, really, really like Dancer or really, really, really like Bard, but you're sad because you're at the bottom of the list most of the time, you're not supposed to be at the top of the list. If you are at the top of the list, something is wrong. Take comfort in that, take solace in that, and understand that you have a more important job, and that is to make sure your teammates are doing big damage. I love machinists.
I feel better because I did not know that.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
You are a support DPS. It is not your job to be at the top of the list.
I knew about the support part, but I thought, like, why am I not doing any hard damage? Like, I feel terrible.
Yep.
Like, I've always felt bad for not,
It is
out.
Yeah, no, it's because our buffs make the other teammates OP. And so by proxy, we can't really be OP ourselves, because if that was the case, everybody would just be playing Fizz ranged. There's got to be some give and take somewhere. So our give is that we have high mobility and that we buff the party. The take and the trade-off is that we sacrifice damage numbers for it. It's not a big deal.
Got it, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me feel better.
Good, I'm glad. Let's go through the role actions, because if you'll notice, these look drastically different than both tank and melee. And that's because we have a couple of tools that they don't. We'll start with leg graze. This applies a heavy. 40% heavy, by the way. I'm gonna unpopular opinion here. There are not a lot of places that this is useful. It's fun, but if you don't put it on your hotbar because you have a bajillion buttons, looking at you, Bard and Dancer, no one is going to be upset at you for it. Yeah, I can't think of a single spot that I've run into that leg graze in high end has been like important. More in the... Go ahead.
I think I've used it on the Palace of the Dead dungeons.
Yeah, I was gonna say more so in the one-off areas, deep dungeons, open world areas like Boja, Eureka. Leg graze is more handy there. But as far as like raids, savages, and ultimates, I don't think I've ever used leg graze. Heavy versus slow. A heavy is a movement debuff on the enemy. Slow is a casting debuff on the enemy. So one will affect their GCD timer. Enemies also have a GCD timer. The other will affect their ability to move quickly. Second wind. We saw this with the melees. It is also true with the Fizz range. This is a self-cure. You cannot give it to anybody else. It will only apply to you. Yeah, straightforward. Cure potency is the same in everything. At 100, it's, or at level 100, it is 800. That scales according to level, by the way. So if you go touch your level 60 dance and you're like, wait, my cure potency isn't 800, you're not there yet. You get there at the time you get to 100. Foot graze. It is a bind. Again, no one is going to yell at you if this is not on your hotbar. I can't think of a high-end instance where I have used foot graze. Deep dungeons, sure. Boja Eureka, absolutely. But raiding, Savage, and Ultimate, it's not on my hotbar and hasn't been for ages. Not to say it won't ever be in the future. Yoshi P likes to mess with people. But yeah, no one's gonna know if this is not on your hotbar. I'm not gonna lie to you. Peloton, however, everyone is going to know if it's not on your hotbar. This increases your party's movement speed. as well as your own. Use this in dungeons, in alliance raids, at the beginning of a pull for a boss fight, for a trial, or a normal raid. Use Peloton. It does not work in active combat, but if you are outside of combat, it does. And so oftentimes you can tell if there's an alliance that doesn't have a bard, machinist, or dancer on it because they're the last group to get to fights. And it's because someone's not pressing Peloton. If you have access to use Peloton, use Peloton. It makes everyone's life so much easier. It's a courtesy thing more than anything, to be honest with you. I have a question because I didn't stop to actually measure it. Does Peloton stack with the new jog buff? No, they are the same speed. We actually did go through that. So Peloton and the jog buff that you get after using sprint are the same speed. They don't stack with one another. So like if you're already jogging and you use Peloton, I think, well, I mean, they might stack. I don't know that we actually tested whether or not they stack. I think we just tested whether or not it was the same speed. You'll have to try it out and let me know. Because Peloton and sprint stacks. So by proxies, Peloton and jog should stack as well. If it does, it's a very small gain. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If Peloton and jog do stack, it's probably like a minute gain, if anything. You'll have to test it and let me know. Head graze. This is important. This does need to be on your hotbar. This is an interrupt. So we talked about interrupts with tank, right? And how if you get that cast bar that's red, yellow, kind of flashing, and you press the interrupt button, it stops that cast. Fizz range is the other class that has access to do this. This needs to be on your hotbar. The near raids, there is a spot in Puppet's Bunker where you're doing mobs and there's 3 big robots. They have an interruptible cast. If you don't interrupt that cast, everybody ends up with, oh my God, what is it? What is it called? Why is it escaping me, the debuff? I always say you have the hiccups because it interrupts your ability to like press buttons and stuff. You end up with hiccups. Paralyzed, that's it. It's paralyzed. If you don't interrupt that cast, everybody in the entire alliance raid ends up being paralyzed. You get the hiccups. So yes, put this on your hotbar. This is important. If you are a Fizz range player, you are the only other role that can do interrupts outside of tank. There is a raid right now, it's the 3rd one in the current Savage tier, where interrupts are necessary. There are 4 trash mobs that go out. All of them have interruptible casts. 3 people should be able to interrupt, and then the 4th one you just gotta kill before it does a thing. So yeah, very important to have on your hotbar. Arm's length. Oh, 1 second. I've got a DoorDash and I forget they need the code. Give me 2 seconds, you guys. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Ugh. I forgot they do that now, the authorization code thing. All right. Lastly, we have arm's length. We've already talked about arm's length. I've sung its praises. Put it on your hotbar. Have fun. Have fun being the only one that doesn't get knocked back. Especially because you now know how to identify knockbacks. It's the best thing ever, right? Any more questions about Fizz ranged as a class in essence or any of these role abilities before we move on? No? Good? Gucci? Perfect. So we're going to move on to casters now. I am going to start with healers first. And then we will get into casters. But I don't think that there's a lot of differences between the role abilities on healers and casters, with one major one, which you can obviously already see, and we will get into in just a second. Repose affects the afflicted party with sleep. This, for lack of a better word, is your stun. It's not a stun, it is sleep. If you hit an enemy that has been put to sleep, they will wake back up. But the sleep duration is a full 30 seconds, so if you are in like a deep dungeon playing as a caster, this is probably going to be your best friend. As far as raiding is concerned, I have never used this button, not even on trash mobs and alliance raids. So, you know, have your fun with it. But if you need the hotbar space, no one is going to yell at you if you take this off of it. Yeah, it doesn't live on mine either. In no situation do I use repose, with the exception of leveling blue mage and deep dungeons. And I don't really deep dungeon like that, so like it doesn't have a home on my hotbar personally. You've seen sleep when the tank died? Yes, that's useful. That is useful. So you can try to put enemies to sleep if a tank goes down, right? And you got something charging at you as a healer, you need to res that tank. You might be able to throw out a sleep and, you know, get yourself some time. Very niche though. Oh yeah, the turtle guy in Origenics is sleepable too, but like, I mean, when you hit him, he's gonna wake back up, so it's kind of useless. Asuna, on the other hand, is not useless, and if you do not have Asuna on your hotbar, I want you to fix it immediately. If you are planning on playing healer and raiding, or just in general as your main class, and Asuna is not on your hotbar, I am going to yell at you. Because this one is absolutely 1000% non-negotiable. Asuna removes debuffs, detrimental status effects. One at a time, but it is instant cast now. So you have that every like 2.5 seconds, more or less. Because there is no cooldown timer on it. So you know what Morbles are. If you have a party member that's been hit with bad breath, all of those can be Asuna'd away. A lot of debuffs can be removed, whereas some can't. We will talk about debuffs, I want to say next week, I think is when we're getting into it. But there is a tell. There is a way as a healer that you can tell which things Asuna will work on and which ones won't without having to test it out and find out right there in the moment that it's not going to work. When we get into debuffs, we will talk about this a little bit more, but Asuna is definitely your best friend as a healer. You need to have it on your hotbar at all times. Lucid Dreaming is also your best friend as a healer. Lucid Dreaming gets attributed to casters more than it does healers, and I'm really not sure why, because healers use just as much MP, if not more, than casters most of the time. This restores your MP for you, so it's if you're halfway through your bar, if you're out of MP and you press Lucid Dreaming, you get a buff on how fast you get your MP back, based on the server ticks. You should be using this when you are about halfway through your MP stores, and that's as a caster, or I'm sorry, as a healer. And I mean, I guess Summoner and Picto, although I feel like they have MP restore buttons. You should be using Lucid Dreaming regardless. You get it at level 14. The second that your MP gets down to about halfway, you're going to pop that Lucid Dreaming and just continue doing what you're doing, okay? Totally fine, totally valid. Make sure this is on your hotbar. It's on mine. All of my healers have access to Lucid Dreaming, even if they don't necessarily need it. Swiftcast. Most people will use this paired with the resurrection button of whatever healer that they're playing. So Swiftcast Raise, Swiftcast Airgeo, or whatever it's called on Sage. You get what I'm getting at. If the situation is under control and you're with people that you know are not about to fall down, go ahead and use the Swiftcast for something else. Unpopular opinion? Maybe. But you're sitting on gold, and this is something that would allow you to move out of danger and continue to cast at the same time. So if you're with people that you trust, that you know are not going to touch the floor anytime soon, go ahead and use that Swiftcast. Don't let it collect dust. It's great to have it as a just-in-case button. Sometimes just-in-case never happens. So go ahead. Go ahead and Swiftcast that glare. It's fine. You're fine in my book if you do it. I'm not mad at you. It's also an excellent oh shit button if you do need to throw out heals last second too. So if everybody's kind of low and there's like a raid wide coming out, and you're like, oh no, that's bad, I'm not gonna get a cast off in time, you can swift cast some kind of cure for your party members also additionally as well. Oh look, Mina said sometimes I use it for big shields. There you go. Surecast. This is arm's length. This is your knockback invuln. Live it, love it, learn it. Have some fun with it. This one is also a non-negotiable in some situations, so this does need to be added to your hotbar. This is your I'm not participating button if you are playing any kind of caster. It's called Surecast. And now we gotta talk about rescue. Now we gotta talk about my mom just snatched me out the aisle in Target. Button. Put it on your hotbar. And there's not a lot of people that will tell you to do that. I'm telling you to do that. I am going to say use it sparingly. Think of it like a really strong seasoning in a dish that you're cooking. A sprinkle here, a smidge there. If you're with friends and you guys are just that bored, you know, go nuts being a troll with friends. Do not, under any circumstances, use this button to troll someone that you do not know. That is the fastest way to end up suspended. It's tempting, especially if you have someone that's just being a little turd, right? You got this guy, they won't stop talking, they're complaining about everything, they're yelling at the tank, they're making you mad. Just, oops, my bad, finger slipped. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because if they're being enough of a turd to complain about how the gameplay is going, they're going to be enough of a turd to take the time to report the fact that you did it. And everything is recorded under the battle logs tab. So just rescue friends, not foes. Or if you're taking care of a sprout and you know an instance like the back of your hand, go ahead and rescue the sprout if you see something bad about to happen. Do your best not to rescue if you're unsure, right? If you're doing it because, you know, oh, just in case, I just want to be safe, don't do it. You'll kill someone, and I'm telling you that from experience. As a matter of fact, I think I've done it to Mina. Yeah, there it is. There's the frowny face. There it is. I did. I rescued Mina once on an I just want her to be safe. I'm not sure if it's going to happen or not, but I rescued her on a maybe, and it got her killed. I've done that to other people as well, too. So, like, it's a strong seasoning. Use it sparingly. Was it the bunny boss? No, it wasn't the bunny boss. I forget where it was. I pulled her through 2 overlapping AoEs is what happened, and she got smacked by them both. Yeah, I think it might have been Necron. I think you're right. I didn't pull her off of an arena. I pulled her through some bad, thinking that she might have been in danger, and she wasn't. She was going somewhere safe, and I just didn't notice, and wanted to be cautious, and I ended up killing her instead. So it's a strong seasoning. Use it sparingly. If you are unsure about what's about to happen, or if you are unsure about intentions of another player, just don't press it. If they fall down, they fall down, bro. If he dies, he dies. You have to be not even 99.99% sure. I want you to be 100% sure that you rescuing that person is actually going to save their life. If you're not 100%, don't press the button. Do not rescue strangers to troll them. Troll your friends at will. By the way, if you jump off of the arena, there is a half of second where you can still press buttons, where you can surefire rescue somebody off of the arena with you. You didn't hear that from me, though. Any questions about healers?
Do I have to heal?
No, not at all.
All right, good.
I always tell folks the later you get into your raiding career, the more good it is for you to be versatile. But I know people that have never touched a healer and probably never will unless they get absolutely bored. It's good to have one in your kit, especially if you can see yourself maybe teaching people down the line or like wanting to help them with their like stuff. You know what I mean? But no, if you don't vibe with healers, don't play healers. It's not a big deal. Look, Deshaun recently touched healer. Ain't you cleared top, bruh?
No.
Yeah, no, it's not mandatory. Healing is always optional, in my opinion. Support classes in general are optional. Is it good to have one under your belt? 100%. Do you have to heal? No. Anybody that tells you otherwise, don't listen to them. Yeah, I was gonna say. Go ahead.
It's also good, even if you don't know like how to play healer. It's still good to know like some of like what the healers can do.
Yep. Just a little bit. It's nice. So that's why we're going over the role abilities for everybody. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So with healers, and I don't know if you have this covered on the possible. Each healer I know has a different type of healing and or shielding. Which ones are the shield healers and which ones are the heal healers?
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about the essence of the role before I move on. If there's no questions about this, we can go through that very quickly. There are 2 of each. So looking at my screen and looking at the job list, you have 2 pure healers and 2 shield healers. Right now, Deshaun and I are on the pure healer class. I am using White Mage. This is your entry level, start as a conjurer, instant heals at the touch of a button, high mobility, a couple of shields, but they're not real big kind of class. Deshaun is on the more advanced Astrologian. You can unlock that once you get to Heaven's Word. Astrologian is a lot more technical, but it is still a pure healer. The essence of a pure healer is it goes missing, you put it back. The end. That's it. That is your job. Your primary job. It goes missing, you put it back. You replace health that has been lost to damage. Healers do damage. Also, while we're on the subject, umbrella statement for all 4 of the healers before we even move into shields. Healers do damage. This is one of the things that sets 14 apart from other MMOs is that you are expected to do damage as a healer. You have to. Like, non-negotiable. Please use your damage buttons. Every single healer is equipped with a damage over time button. Put that on if nothing else. But you should be doing damage. There's not always a need to put health back in the way that these fights are built, and they want you to do damage. That's why the role quests for healers require you to go fight and do damage. They're trying to teach you to do damage. So, those are the pure healers. Your shield healers, you have 2 of those as well. Sage, and to the right of me, Mina is showing off Scholar. Sage is basically your White Mage equivalent. You have a lot of really instant cast buttons. You can do shields right away, high mobility. You can put health back. It's not necessarily a lot. You put health back by doing damage, but your primary responsibility is shields. You want to make sure that you are putting shields on the party. Shield healers, overall, the essence of their job is, you're not going to take it because I'm going to put a shield on. It's to prevent it from going missing in the first place. If pure healers put it back when it goes missing, shield healers stop it from going missing at all. Scholar is the more technical version of shield healing. And a lot of people would think, well, wait, that seems backwards, right? Because you get Sage later and then you get Scholar first. It does seem backwards, but it's not. Scholar is definitely the more technical of the 2. It is a little more difficult to grasp and wrap your mind around, but if you do get the hang of it, a good Scholar is worth its weight in gold. Yeah. So, healers do damage. Pure healers put it back when it goes missing. Shield healers stop it from going missing in the first place. Any other questions about healers before we move on? Nope. All right. Oh, I see typing. Wait a second. Yeah, go ahead.
Which one is the easiest one?
The easiest healer, so it's subjective. In my opinion, White Mage. White Mage by far is the most brain dead healer because they have the highest number of put it back buttons. You have options. You are Emerald in a kitchen full of recipes and ingredients on White Mage. Everything is reactionary. You can do whatever you want to do. It is your world. Color your world, dog. Just don't run out of MP. That's it. That's the one rule.
Like, when I first started healing, I started as Sage, and I regretted it because everyone told me, go do White Mage. And White Mage is the only reason that I can actually heal now.
Sage is the White Mage of healers, but again, shield healing is different to get used to because you have to learn to anticipate patterns in fights. So if you are someone that is really good at anticipating fight flow and patterns, you may find Sage to be easier than White Mage because for the entire kit that White Mage has, Sage has that, but in shields. And they have some heals as well. So, it really just depends on the personality. I'm gonna say White Mage hands down, and I think a lot of people would agree with me on that as well. It's sad that my Sage Glamour is girl only. Oh, is it? They don't let y'all wear the dress? That's so rude, bro. My God. Insane. I didn't know. Unforged, bro. Unlock it. Okay. So now we're gonna move on to casters. Remember when I told you that Melee's one job and priority was do big damage at all times? Casters are the same, but with magic. These are your glass cannons, your heavy hitters, your I'm gonna do what Melee is doing, but from across the room. Friends here. The director of the game, Yoshi P, plays Black Mage. That is his main class. I'm not biased, but I'm just gonna say if you're gonna get into casting, maybe, you know, consider learning the Dark Art of Black Mage. Anyway, let's go over the role abilities. So you'll notice there's some similarities here, but there are also some differences. The main one being that casters have Addle. We talked about what feint is for melees. This is your button as a caster. This is your feint button. Addles can sit with feints and reprisals. Addles cannot sit with other addles, meaning you will overwrite if another caster casts an addle. But yes, it lowers the target's physical damage by 5% and magical damage by 10%. So it's reverse. Whereas with melees, it was 10% on physical, 5% on magical. This is the other way around. 10% on magical, 5% on physical. But you do have a damage mitigation button as a caster. You also have sleep. We talked about this a little bit with White Mage or healers and repose. It's the same thing. Except for I think this one is an AoE. Whereas the one that the healers have is single target. So anything grouped together you can cast sleep on and it will all go to bed. I'm going to say that the button is optional. I don't use this in high-end stuff. I've used it for like world farming where I'm out at Bozier, Eureka, or like a deep dungeon. But like, I don't really use sleep. So if it's not on your hotbar, no one's really going to yell at you. Whereas if Addle's not on your hotbar, you're probably going to get yelled at. Lucid dreaming. This is the fun thing, right? Healers have lucid dreaming, so do casters. This just restores your MP. You should be using this as a caster. Yes, you also, Black Mage. I understand. Your ice puts your stuff back. Press the button anyway. You never know, okay? You might be able to fit an extra Fire 4 in there if you're smart about it. I digress. Swift cast. We already talked about this. Healers have swift cast. They use it for res. You also have a swift cast as a caster. Use it. Add it to your hotbar. It is free real estate and it gets you out of danger. Okay? As a Black Mage, I have it locked into my rotation. I'm using it to transition and replenish my MP with Blizzard. As Picto or Summoner, you may find some other use for that. Summoner, I'm sure Ifrit Phase would love it if you would use your swift cast. Add it to your hotbar. It's important. And then we have Surecast. We've already talked about Surecast and Arm's Length. We already know that this is Spokey's favorite button. Add this to your hotbar. It is non-negotiable in a lot of situations. And because you're casting, you should absolutely be using this as often as possible on any knockback available. Because why do you want to be interrupted from doing damage, right? Your whole point, the whole purpose of you being a caster is to do damage. So add it to your hotbar. And that is all of the role abilities. Do we have any questions, comments, concerns about role actions? What shouldn't be on your hotbar? How and when to employ these? Anything at all? Doesn't sound like it. Okay. So, then the next half of this, some of you may not necessarily need to take this field trip, but many of you might. I'm actually going to introduce you to somewhere where you can start messing around with your chosen class. I'd like all of you to go ahead and pick up the class that you think you would like to get comfy cozy on, you would like to raid in high end on. Go ahead and change to it for me now. I'm just kind of curious. I want to see what we're working with here. All right, so we got a black mage. I like that. Got a gunbreaker. Very nice, very nice. I got a scholar. I see a picto. Okay, what do we got here? Ah, dancer. We're gonna be hanging out a lot together then, aren't we? Let's see. Got another black mage. Gunbreaker. Very nice. A white mage. Okay. And a dark knight. Very nice, very nice. Oh, and you do whatever you want to do. That's not my problem. So the reason that I have brought you guys here, the game has implemented into its own systems a place where you can actually go and tinker with classes. I'm sure many of you have been to Summerford Farms, and you understand that there are striking dummies out there that you can kind of hit and play around on and not get a whole lot of pushback or anything like that from. But did you know there are striking dummies that you can actually kill? The game has implemented something called Stone Sky Sea. Let's see. No, don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. You don't gotta go melee. Don't let him pressure you. Don't let him pressure you into changing your comfy class. You do what makes you happy. It's fine. So Stone Sky Sea is actually something that has been around since Heaven's Word, believe it or not. And it is a series of training dummies that will allow you to emulate the damage that you would need to put out in an extreme, a savage, level 0 dungeon, whatever instance, to see if you're doing decent damage. This is kind of a pass-fail thing, which we'll talk a little bit more about it once everybody has them unlocked. But for now, I would like to go about making sure that everybody has them unlocked. So, let me just start by copy-pasting this. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in yell chat. Everybody, I need you to go ahead and try and look for the Goodly Adventurer. Wait, I'm lying. I think it starts here. Give me a second. Right around here, where I am standing in game, there should be a blue shield quest. Where there's a blue, and it's got a plus symbol on it. If you see it, great. If you don't, let me know that you don't see it.
I don't see it.
Okay.
I don't see it. Maybe I already unlocked it.
It's very possible that a lot of you may have already had these done, but we are going to go city by city to make sure that that is actually the case, so that nothing gets missed. Let me find all of the quests and just go ahead and pull those up now so that I just have them.
Wait, where are you? Oh, no, it's the Wonders Tales.
It's entirely possible you guys may already have them. So for here, there should be a boisterous bruiser. I lied. Somebody standing right here called a boisterous bruiser. Do any of you see him anywhere nearby? Should be right around this area somewhere.
No.
No.
Okay, so then you guys all have them done for this one. If you wouldn't mind following me, we're going to go to Ralger's Reach next. Are there enough of us to put us in a party together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's more than 8. I'm gonna grab all of the learners first. Mina's going. My FC kids are going. Alright. Party. It's a party. Ami's going. Okay. The rest of you guys can just come off of my teleport. So if you are in Ralger's Reach, there should be a blue quest called Another Striking Opportunity. Should be about these coordinates. Let me know if you see it or if you don't.
I don't see it.
I do.
Okay, go ahead and grab that. grab that bad boy. You're going to follow that bad boy until you get it unlocked. It is going to take you out to Stone Sky Sea. That is totally fine. We will wait here until you are done, and then we will move on to the next location. Anybody else that needs to do it, you can go ahead and go. We'll just vibe out here in the meantime. How many of you guys are not done with Dawn Trail? Splash, I know you're not.
You know, it's funny, I don't have this.
Do you not have this? Actually?
I know, apparently.
Do you actually
this
not
guy
have
here, right?
this? That's crazy. Go pick it up.
This guy here, right?
Alpha Legend, by the way. What are you
Alpha
doing?
Legend.
That's fine. If you're not in Dawn Trail, that's fine. I'm just trying to take a head count of people that where your stopping point is going to be, so I can base where we hang out at off of that. That's all. I think we're all going to be in Endwalker.
Oh, I finished on show. What was your question, sorry?
I just wanted to see where everybody was story-wise.
Okay.
So what we are doing right now, Stone Sky Sea, it is a set of training dummies that I'm going to introduce to you, but they happen once per expansion with the exception of ARR. Aether's still not an Endwalker. Okay, noted. So then it'll probably be Shadowbringers that we vibe out at. It's fine. I just need to know who's where so I know where to leave you guys, or we know where to go back to. All done? All done, Pekka?
Yeah.
Deshaun, are you finished? How you running around with a top weapon but ain't got Stone Sky Sea unlocked? Insanity. Oh my gosh, bro. This man done been in the end of the end. Didn't start with the basics. It's fine. A lot of people don't, believe it or not. You would be surprised at how many people do not do their basics. You're done. Yeah, you got tossed straight into the raids. Your husband forced you to do all the blue quests are good. One of the first things I tell Sprouts is do your blue quests. Do your blue quests. It's super important. All right. So for the next one, we're actually going to go to Yulmore, and then we're going to go downstairs. Completionist. Blue quests always unlock something. So if you ever see a blue quest somewhere, do it. It unlocks, it gives you something. You get more content for that. So like, do those. All right. So this one comes from the Weary Dock Worker. And these are the coordinates that I am seeing here. We have to take a little walk for this one. I think we have to go downstairs. So your best bet is probably going to be the Night Soil Pots or Glory Gate, one of those two spots. To get to that. And if you have a Blue Shield quest, go ahead and go do it. If you don't have a Blue Shield quest, I'm going to have you follow... Well, I mean, I guess we can wait here. It's not a big deal. Wait down by the docks. Deshaun, I know you don't have this one because they have to be unlocked in a tier. Go get it. So one thing I don't like about this is that you can't do them... Wait, did they separate them? Oh, thank God, dude. I'm so glad. I'm so glad they separated these. Hasn't completed the first part. Oh, okay, so you probably won't have access to these either. But that's okay. It's not a big deal. You're running with Yada. You know, it's weird. They all used to be linked together, which I couldn't stand. Like, you had to go get the first one from Heaven's Word to get the one from Stormblood, to get the one from Shadowbringers, to get the one from Endwalker. I think they separated them, which makes me very happy if that's the case. Because they didn't used to be. You had to follow the quest trail. It was really silly. But this is fine. because this will also give you access to learn other classes if you're ever curious to see how you're doing on new stuff too. So that's why we're doing the entire train for these. Had to be during Endwalker. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Had to be at some point post Endwalker that they unchained them. Just wait for everybody to finish grabbing these. And then those of you that can follow, feel free to follow. Those of you that can't, that's totally fine. Just vibe out for a little bit. We will come back. All done? Beautiful. The next one. Okay. Back to party. I have one more spot if someone else needs to. Here, come here. The next one I actually know where it is. So we're gonna go this way. Rod's at Han, if you're not in party and want to go. Although I think you can't on the character that you're on right now, Aether, but that's fine. So the next one should be like right over here somewhere. It's called A Place to Train. You're gonna get it from the Hardy Looking Radiant. Let me do a this. If you,
I lost this a long time ago when I first started.
I think they might have been unpaired by that point. Does everyone have this one already?
Yep.
Okay. So then there is one last area. If you are watching my screen and have not done Dawn Trail, I am going to ask you to stop watching right now, because this last area is spoilers for you. If you have done Dawn Trail, this will be specifically for you. As soon as I find my, there it is. All right, cool. Do. This last one is going to be called Trial by Spire. You're going to get it from the Eccentric Researcher, and these are your coordinates. So if you don't have it, grab it. If you do have it, great.
Yeah, I think I have this one as well.
Okay. Here's that for you, Yada, just in case you missed it, because I saw you kind of came in a little later.
I do. I don't see any questions.
You don't see anything on the map there? Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it looks like one still has to unlock it. And then I think... Was it Raugers that everybody could get to? I think it was Raugers that everybody could get to. So we'll go out there. Just to demo what it is that we're doing. Is that the fringes? It's like the literal middle of nowhere, or am I crazy? Might be crazy. Okay. You know what? We'll just go back to Edelshire. That'll be the easiest way to demo it. So if you guys have it, you can head back over to Edelshire. If you're unlocking it still, just meet us back in the same place that we started in Edelshire. We'll use those ones since it's the quickest and easiest to get to. I can tell you where it is off the top of my head without having to worry about it. We'll just wait right here till everybody gets back. I'd love it if my controller would knock it off. What's the controller doing? There we go. I'm having a bad technical day for some reason. Technology has not agreed with me. Alright, you can go back to looking at my stream if you need to. Or want to, just as an optional. It's totally fine. You're not missing much. We're just waiting for everybody to get back from unlocking all of their things so that I can actually show you guys what this is. I'm sure at this point, most of you have 1 or 2 extremes from Heaven's Word unlocked, so this will work really well because of that.
Completely off topic, but this mount, I think our women look the most awkward sitting in this chair.
Yeah, you guys didn't sit normally. When are we getting, when is who getting that? I'm not getting that. I don't want that axolotl. I don't want the lotl. I get it. He's very adorable. I hate her.
Of all the hideous mounts that you've been collecting, you don't want that one?
It's cute. I'm okay.
I have so many questions.
I don't like the fight. I don't like the person in the fight that it comes out of, and I didn't need anything from that fight, so I never went. Yeah. Let's skip all the stupid stuff. I mean, you still have phase 2 stuff to do. Yeah, I was gonna say, there's still phase 2. I didn't look at nothing. I was so done with that tier by the time I finished 11, bro. I'll skip all the calorics. How about that? No calorics. 0 calories. Alright, I think everyone is back at this point, yes? Alright, then I beseech thee, don a mount. I can give a ride to 3 people. Anybody that want to get in the car? That's 2. Got space for 1 more. Alright, everybody in the car, everybody on mounts, everybody coming. Alright. Follow me. We're just gonna head right out this front gate, and you're gonna go to the left. Very important that you go left. And right here, you should see a dude with a chocobo just standing about. I'm gonna go ahead and disband this party because we can't go together as is. The goodly adventurer here. So all of you, if you would just talk to him, he has some options: fight, small talk, and nothing. You're gonna pick fight. For now, just to get us out there, go ahead and pick anything. It does not matter. You may have a whole list of stuff. Doesn't matter what you pick, just pick anything. It's totally fine. Basic training, level 60, whatever it is. Pick one and hit begin. It's going to transport you to a ring where there's a training dummy. You don't have to do this right this second if you don't want to. If you want to fight the training dummy, feel free to fight the training dummy. Otherwise, you can just walk out of the circle and come find me. I am... Just yell this. Here I am. I'm over here. So what I have had you unlock, and where I have taken you, is in essence an arena for training purposes. As you saw, there was a whole list of fights that you can have access to. You'll pick one. It will transport you here. It will be just you and a training dummy. You'll get a countdown for when your challenge will begin, and you will also see a 3-minute clock. The entire point is to see if you can destroy the training dummy within 3 minutes' time. Oh, it's gone. Well, hooray for us. Obviously, I would suggest.
Mine exploded.
Yeah.
Mine exploded in like 2 seconds.
Yeah. I would suggest doing this at level, obviously, so that doesn't happen. But the reason I have brought you here is because we are going to be slowly but surely transitioning into learning things called openers and rotations. I'm not teaching you anything today. That in and of itself is a full lesson that is going to require the full 2 hours. But I did want you to at least unlock this, and I would like for you to at least attempt it at your appropriate level and expansion at some point this week before we meet next. I can't demo one for you. The appropriate ones for me are all in a different area. I mean, I guess I could. It wouldn't matter. You could just watch my screen. But these are designed to help you do more damage, to optimize your damage. This is the game's built-in vanilla safe way of helping you get better and feel more comfortable on your class. It's very pass-fail. If either you break the dummy, it explodes, or you don't. Either way is fine. Just because you queue up a dummy for a specific fight or a specific raid and you can't kill that dummy within the 3 minutes doesn't mean that you are incapable of doing that raid. It just means that whatever is left over, that damage is somebody else is going to be responsible for on your team. What it does is it takes the role in the class that you have chosen and it gives a dummy a certain percentage of health points. And that percentage, that chunk of health, is what would, in essence, you would be responsible for in the raid or the trial that you're trying to kill the dummy for. So it'll have a set number of health designed. The game goes, okay, you're playing a Viper. So the striking dummy gets, 1.5 million health points. You should be able to get rid of all of these in 3 minutes. And so that's the whole thing. That's the whole game. You're just trying to kill the dummy before the 3-minute timer runs out. I would strongly encourage it, giving it a go, testing it out. Like I said, if you end up finding that you cannot kill the dummy, that's fine. That doesn't mean you're a terrible raider. That doesn't mean you should uninstall or stop playing the game. It just means, okay, out of the 1.5 million hit points, you got rid of 1.2 million. That other 0.3 million, your team is going to have to make up the damage for. That's what that means. For whatever that specific fight is. You're going to spend a lot of time out here. I would like for you to spend a lot of time out here. I think it's very important that you spend a lot of time out here. Getting used to pressing buttons, getting used to a flow for a fight, a flow for a rotation, and that sort of thing. Like I said, we're not going through openers and rotations this week. That will actually be next week that we start doing that and talking about individual classes and rotations and things like that. I probably won't be the only teacher on hand for that situation because I don't play a whole bunch of classes, right? Like, I am a Fizz ranged main. I can play healer a little bit. I can play caster on Black Mage a little bit, and that's about as far as that goes for me. So I'll probably bring in some of our tank mains, some of our melee mains. I'm sure Deshaun will be here next week. I'm sure Lix will be here next week as well. Alston could teach warrior if somebody wanted to learn that, for example. And we'll kind of break off into groups and cover, like, this is what this means to play this class. I am going to leave you with one resource today. It's called The Balance. Do not, if you start to look around the site and feel overwhelmed by the site, put it down, would be my suggestion to you. But if you want to get ahead of the game and do a little bit of extra homework and kind of start looking into, well, how do I play Pictomancer? How do I play Dancer? How do I play Gunbreaker? This site is going to be the one that you want to use. I'm going to go ahead and link it in the call chat. It will also be in the recap channel, of course. But this is The Balance. You're going to want to save this somewhere. You'll probably be using this quite a bit. But it will go over, in essence, specific classes and give you resources for learning that class and playing that class at a base level. I as well as leveling guides, skill overviews, openers, all that sort of fun stuff is in there. I'm going to switch screens just to kind of give you a little bit of a guided tour. So give me 1 second here. Let me just... Where is the balance? Where are you? Here it is. Okay. So, this is the balance. If you want to take a look at my screen. As you can see, it's got several tabs. It's very straightforward. It also has a link to their Discord. If you want to get in there and get to talking about stuff with someone, please feel free. But it's very clean, very neat. There's a tank section, a healers section, a melee section, a range section, and a caster section. So all the different roles that we talked about. You would just go in here, find what it is that you're looking for, right? Click on it. Big pictures, easy to see. From here, it'll give you a little breakdown about what that class is in essence, and then you have some other stuff that you can click on. You have skills overviews, for example. It also has a date when it was last updated, by the way. Leveling guides, a basic guide, and you can also look at something called openers. Most of these will come with infographics. These can be downloaded, and they can also be zoomed in on if you need to do it that way. It'll give you the full size diddly bob there, as you can see. So it will literally give you a picture of which buttons to press when, if that makes any sense. And it will also kind of spell it out for you too, below that. So if you're a more, I like to read, I don't like pictures kind of person, you also have that at the ready for you too. And you can do this for literally any section. So like, what did we see? I saw some black mages in there, right? So if I come in here, press this, it's going to tell me a little bit about black mage. It'll give me a basic guide, a leveling guide, some skill overviews. So it literally goes through the skills one by one, breaks down what they do for you. It's all on the same page. The game does this, by the way, but they've made it here in one spot where you can just kind of neatly read through. But there's nothing here that wouldn't be found in your actions and traits menu when it comes to like the skills. It's just in a neat little kind of Excel style table. But that'll also take you through openers. Some classes have multiple openers. Black Mage is one of those, by the way. See? And this is what I mean when I say, if you get in here and start feeling overwhelmed, just close it. Don't worry about it. We'll look at it more in depth next week. But there's also leveling guides. So if you decide, you know, maybe I don't want to do Gunbreaker. Maybe I want to learn to play Warrior. And your Warrior is like not leveled. You could come in here and then just click this. And it will tell you what to look at as you're at the different spots and leveling. So you can actually properly learn the class in tandem with the levels that you are going through. But yes, I would suggest having a peek at these. Pony, you're going to spend a lot of time looking at these because you like Monk. And Monk has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different openers that you can choose from.
Jesus.
Enjoy. It will also break down how you know which opener to pick, by the way. So, depending upon what class you're choosing to play, that's how complicated the balance can be or not be for you. Like I said, I've linked it in the call chat. You are completely free to look at that at your leisure. Let me look here. You downloaded some of these on my phone. I think that pic is what you sent me when I asked you for the dancer opener. It may have been an older variation, possibly. I think the last time you asked me was post Dawn Trail, so it may not have been. Yes, more Tekken combos. Why you do this while I'm leveling Monk? Look, I tried to help you. I told you to pick dancer. I wasn't trying to hurt your feelings. Enjoy. You have fun with that, Rain. Yay! Remind me to make Monk my last class to learn. Monk is actually pretty fun, believe it or not. It's a lot simpler than it looks on paper, but there is definitely a lot to take into consideration is the problem. And yes, Sean said, because Tekken. You can definitely cheat it to make it simpler. Everything is punchable. Do we have... You call all the dark mains? You have to take that up with Licks. You're gonna have to take that up with Licks. You call them the dark mains. You guys can fight about it. I don't know, be angsty or something. It's up to you. Do we have any questions? Or do one of you guys want to try out Stone Sky Sea at level? You want to try it out? Okay, so you're 100, right? Okay. So some of you I can take to where you need to go. For those of you that can't get there, I can demo what it would look like doing that at level, but we are going to an area that's Dawn Trail. It'll be out of context, and since this is side context, I'm okay with showing you guys that. Is there a level sync here? I don't think that there is. An oversight, really, for a system that they've just kind of like halfway put into the game. Oh, is there a level sync here? Deshaun is checking right now. Yeah, because you hit your dummy once, it's a level 100 something, it's just gonna fall down. Let's see. It's not gonna let us go, Ami, because we're partied. But let's see. It does not look like it. It's kind of unfortunate, if we're being honest. I wish that there was.
First one's a level sync.
Is it? Okay, so level 60 is the only one that will sync. So you can do that one. You can do the level 60 one, and that will sync you down to your level 60 abilities. If you have a class that is over where you're at, I would suggest doing the level 70 ones first. Because that's probably where you start to get into the meat and the potatoes of like your whatchamacallit. Ami and I think Mina's already out there, are gonna head over to the level 100 dummies. Did not mean to mount up. And I will demo one for you, and then you guys can do the thing. So what do we got in here? Chaotic, Cruiserweight, Windward Wilds. Ah, here we go. This seems... I mean, I already know I can kill that. Is there something in here I haven't tried yet? There is. Okay. It is what it is! We'll do this one. Seems like it'd be more of a challenge. So I can show you over the next 3 minutes what this looks like. Deshaun is also going to demo a dummy for you if you are curious to see that. One of the things that I would recommend, and we'll talk a little bit about raid food and buffs and stuff another day, but if you have access to buffs and things and you know what they are, I would recommend using them for the sake of your trial. If you don't know what they are, that's fine. Just do your best with what you have. It will feel a lot more difficult, but that's okay. That's kind of the impression that we want to leave. So that when we do introduce things like raid buffs and food, you understand the importance of them. All right. So my 3 minutes has started. As you can see, the music has changed. It's gotten a little more fun, which I do appreciate about this place. Because if you're really trying to accomplish something and the music is like super intense, it just adds stress, and I don't think that that's necessarily necessary, if that makes any sense. Am I 2.5 minutes in? Okay. So right now I'm making decent time. I'm 2.5 minutes in. I've got about a third of the bar gone. You can kind of start to gauge your damage after you do this enough times, which is also why I'm kind of like harping on it to you guys so that you can kind of see the difference between first starting out and like actually trying to get the hang of it. Because when you first start doing this, it may feel challenging, especially if you haven't been doing like an optimized opener rotation. It's gonna be tough, and that's fine. You are watching. I have an ultra wide. So you are watching in widescreen. That's a real thing. Everything looks a lot spread out, a lot more spread out than it would normally. I like it. It's like a movie. Sparks joy. So we've got about 1.5 minutes left. We are a little less than halfway through. So I'm making decent time. What were you gonna say, Aether?
I'm not quite out for a minute.
Very nice. Yeah, as I say, you may need to pick something super challenging. In your case, it just depends. If you're doing the level 100, that's probably too low. You're probably gonna want to pick an EX, or if you have Savage unlocked, do that. Do one of those ones. My dance is late. Uh-oh. It's fine, though. We've got plenty of time left.
I have to.
And done. And so that's what a run will look like. Point 2. So that's what a successful run would look like. Not every run that I do is successful. If I were to come back in here on a caster or some class that I don't play, I would probably struggle. I'd probably have a lot harder time with it. That's the point. This is to help you hammer in some basics and just kind of get a general understanding of where you are, like skill level wise, which is why I continue to repeat and continue to harp of, if you don't kill your dummy, do not worry about it. You are okay. We will be going over openers and rotations at some point. We will be talking about food buffs and raid pots and all that sort of fun stuff at some point. So you will be getting the tools needed to kill this dummy and much more through the course of these classes. So don't beat yourself up. Don't be like, I can't do this. Oh my God, I suck at this game. It's not real. You finally made it on the newest EX? Nice. Gear does matter as well. Alston is correct. Gear matters. It's the difference between doing like an M1S and an M4S. I'm glad you hit it. If you do hit your dummy, pat yourself on the back. Awesome, fantastic, incredible.
Spare.
It feels nice accomplishing it, right? My suggestion to you is if you do kill your dummy, pick one that's more challenging. Keep picking them until you can't do it. The key is to find your sticking point, and it's not to make you feel like a failure. It's to find out where you are at skill-wise so that you know what you are up against. That way the stuff that you're learning from me is actually useful. Instead of going, well, I don't need any of this, I can kill this dummy. You go, okay, I found one that I can't kill. What is it that I can take away from this? What is it I can take away from our talks that will help me get to the point when I can? And also be aware that this is a stationary target. We talked about mechanics last week and how mechanics are king. This is just one aspect of a bigger puzzle that you are putting together. So, keep at it, practice it. I bring people out here not only just to test their skill level, but to help hammer in rotation. So the combat classes in 14 all operate on effectively what is a 2-minute window. That means at the very start of the fight, you will get a whole bunch of big heavy buttons to push that will do a whole bunch of damage. And then 1 minute into the fight, you will get some other heavy buttons to push that won't do as much damage as it did at the beginning, but it will still do a lot. And then at 2 minutes into the fight, you get all those big heavy buttons back again. And so on and such forth. And you repeat that until the fight is over. all combat classes operate on this 2-minute window. And in that 2 minutes, you will have a 1-minute burst and a 2-minute burst, and it just continues to cycle until whatever it is you were fighting is dead. So this is something that you'll need to keep in mind when you're working at your classes, when you're inspecting your rotation, when you're watching just kind of the ebb and flow of your damage. If you're finding spots in there, I know on Bard, this is definitely a big one where it's like, I don't know, I have all this downtime or I don't have any buttons to push. It's supposed to happen that way. In a lot of cases, that will be the case. So just things to keep in mind. Any questions? Questions, comments, concerns?
I am currently coming for my 2 minute. If anyone wants to see for tanking.
I was like, where are you? There you are. So Deshaun is demoing Dark Knight. I think he does have his screen up. If you want to watch from his perspective, please go ahead and do that. He is demoing his 2 minute. When you watched me do it, I also went through my 2 minute window as well. This is something that raiders aspire to master as they go through learning raids and getting the hang of things. Mastering the 2 minute window is one of the biggest things that you can do to benefit yourself for higher end content. And this is also why I have told you commit to a single class, because it is a lot easier said than done. It's off by less than 5%, that's okay. That's all right. That is fine. It happens most of the time. A lot of the time it will happen. When I started doing these, I couldn't kill these dummies either. But instead of being sad about it, I was just like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? And that's when I started digging in, trying to find resources and figure out what was going on and what needed to go where and so on and such forth. Until eventually you get to the point where you can. Like so. You almost did it, but you missed by 0.1. Yeah.
I did the M4 savage in like 22 seconds.
Very, very nice.
To be fair, also, I'm using Ray food and pods.
Yeah. So the difference between us consistently doing it and you guys not doing it, it might just be gear. It might just be pots. It might just be raid food. And a lot of you guys have no idea what the hell that shit is right now. And that's fine. You're not supposed to. We haven't talked about it yet. That'll be our buffs and debuffs class, which is the week after next week. For now, familiarize yourself with Stone Sky Sea. Use the balance if you are so inclined to try to figure out your rotation, or at least some semblance of it, and see what the highest level dummy you can kill is, would be my suggestions. If you kill it, move on to a higher level one. If you kill that one, move on to a higher level one. If you kill that one, keep going. Keep going until you find one that you can't. That's your homework. And if you don't find one that you can't, Deshaun. Great! Awesome! That's it. That's all I have. That is it for the class. So we can use the last few minutes to do Q&A, talk about stuff, recap anything if you guys would like to.
Flip it up in extreme now.
Yeah.
I don't have pasta. I'd like to try pasta.
Are you on Dancer?
Yeah.
Come here when you're done.
I haven't started it yet.
Oh, well, you can't leave the circle. I gotta find you. I don't think I can trade you.
I see. Who's this? I can't see. Oh, I see Nina. I'm to the left of Nina.
Okay. I'm not sure if I can trade you, but I'll try.
Probably not through the wall.
If it'll let me. Oh, it will. Okay, cool.
Wait, what's the current rate? Because I have made cookies.
It would be cookies.
Okay, cool.
All right. Good luck.
Yeah.
Look at all these guys out here training. Yeah, I have, nice. I have nothing else for you guys today. So unless you have questions for me, or you would like me to have a Pikachu doing one of the Stone Sky Seas, you're all good. We're done. Yay! EX5, very nice. You, Mina, specifically, because I know what your goals are, your end goals, you are going to want to see if you can do M4S. Is the one that you're going to want to see if you can do. Not me trying to hit it. You did M4S? Or you're going to do it, that's what you're saying. Alright. About to. I see. Alright. You have my attention. I know nothing about Scholar, but I'm hoping for the best for you. Welcome back, Mia! We talked about role abilities, the essence of each job role, and I introduced an unlocked Stone Sky Sea for everybody. So now everyone is in their respective expansions, testing out stuff. Seeing how they do. Alex! Oh, this is Lix. I have nothing less to teach, by the way, so Deshaun, Lix, you guys are, Alston, you guys are all free to like chatter up if you want to. Lix is our resident Dark Knight / Scholar main. I'm sorry, Dragoon main. I apologize, Lix. My apologies.
Hello, yes, I am the best Dragoon. Don't ever take me into a fight as Dragoon, though. You don't want to see how good I am.
Oh, are you a bit new Dragoon?
I did it, Smokey.
Yes, nice. Very nice.
17 seconds left for the recollection next year.
Fantastic. Of course, do the thrusts. But yes, Alston, Deshaun, Lix are some of the voices that you'll probably hear. If Session decides to come out and help teach for rotations and stuff, you'll hear him. You can actually watch him on Twitch most of the time and ask him questions right there in his chat if you want to. He's cleared every ultimate in the game. So,
gamer.
Yeah, kind of lives this life. Whereas we have a few under our belts. He's got them all under his belt multiple times. We are currently seeing if Mina can do the M4S dummy on Scholar.
Oh?
I have no idea how many minutes it's been. I lost track. But
Did you eat your
she's...
fairy?
She's on her 2 minute.
She's on her 2 minute. Okay.
Was the fairy eaten?
I see it right now, but I don't know if it was eaten. Fairy eating does increase damage, I think.
Great.
Yes.
You can only reach 42%, but I'm sure it's because it's Picto still new to me. More than likely. I'd be surprised if I got 42% on Picto. I'm not gonna hold you. I know nothing about Picto. I don't know the opener. I don't know the rotation.
No!
Yep. Done.
The first thing I did, well, no, the third thing I did was eat my fairy. So yes.
Okay, good.
And I had 30 seconds left.
Very nice.
You're welcome. Check.
So yeah,
Use food pots.
I think she did, yes.
The only thing I do is pot, but we don't use. I think that's the
Use the food.
Millet. Crit, vitality, and spell speed. Okay. I have 0 foods. Yeah, that's fine.
On Warrior, but I've never bothered to pot or eat food.
Yeah.
Just so it's always close. Like it makes a difference.
It does.
Yeah, to also add, like I have everything for this, and when I didn't eat food in pots, I had like 3 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Versus when I did, I was like 30.
It costs money to get
Too much money.
And food.
It does.
It just requires a lack of pants, apparently.
So the site that I linked, The Balance, should have information on current tier, because with food and we're calling them pots, they're potions. So you have potions of mind, potions of dexterity, potions of strength, and so on and such forth. They're little tinctures that you take that give you a 30-second buff to whatever that stat is. And it will usually be the base stat for the class that you have chosen. So for example, dexterity is what's super important for Dancer. So when I go and I take pots, they're dexterity pots, they're dex pots. You start looking at your attributes and things like that when you get into like higher end rating, and food is kind of non-negotiable. I'm not even going to say kind of. It is. If you're doing current tier stuff, food is definitely non-negotiable. Pots are fine to save until you're ready to like actually clear a fight. In some instances where you're progging like an ultimate though, it is also a non-negotiable. So just things to keep in mind, that if you don't currently have them or you aren't currently using them on the striking dummies and you fail, that could potentially be one reason why. Like I said, don't look at it as a failure. It's not a failure. It's just whatever was left over is what your team would need to compensate for, is all that is. So we can talk a little bit more about food and pots when we do the buffs and debuffs lesson. I think we'll also be talking about map awareness and things like that day as well. And next week will be openers, rotations. I'm going to try to corral the other teachers and see if they would be willing to break off into breakout groups and help you guys with your respected classes. Yeah. That's it. That's all I got for today. Anything else you others want to add?
What are you doing in about an hour?
Playing Little Nightmares 3 with Kesa.
Oh, that's
Steam.
Continue. I forgot.
I know the boys are going for their clear tonight. I wish I could be there.
No.
I'll smile at the pictures. You guys are gonna do so good. I believe in you.
But no.
What do you
The
mean?
windows rolled up, cars turned off. It's a sunny day.
That's not my van. That's Lix's van. That's crazy. M4S is tough. Yes.
Yeah.
You're gonna head to bed. Okay. Well, I'm gonna turn this off here.
Good night.